Good morning. It is Saturday morning. Beautiful day. Today's the day, by the way. Today is your day. If you got plans to get out and do something, today is the day to do that, to get out and do something, because the next couple of days are going to be unsettled. Some scattered showers, rain on Sunday. Right now, Sunday looks a little bit unsettled. This is 80 northbound, or eastbound, pardon me, going up into up towards Boreal Ridge, and a little bit of snow in the trees. They got just a light dusting up there. The potential for snow exists, but at higher elevations right through next week. So the story is going to be exactly what we thought it was going to be when we talked about this yesterday and the day before. Is this atmospheric river? Where's it going to go? So we'll look at that. We'll look at how much rainfall we have at the 8th station index that really determines how we do for our water year. Lake Shasta, Lake Oroville, the water that trickles into there, the water that trickles out in the spring, the snow, the estimated snow runoff, and we'll get an idea where we are in terms of water. We'll get a look at the birds as well, because that's always fun. They're both looking really healthy. If you were with us yesterday, you saw both babies God, they're growing fast, man. So today, temperatures in the mid 60s around the Bay Area, mid 60s, low 70s down in Southern California, and north up towards Point Arena and those areas, upper 50s, low 60s. So a really, really nice day. Redding, you're probably going to go in the upper mid 60s as well. So a really nice day today for everybody. And then things change around pretty darn rapidly. So let's take a look right to the model. I'll back this up a little bit. We know what this is, right? We've seen this a lot. This is the GFS. I'm not going to throw you any curveballs like the NAM or HRRR, because we really are forecasting pretty far out still. You know, tomorrow's not that far out, but the week has got this unsettled component to it. So if you're like my guy, Isaac, he's pouring concrete. He wants to pour on Tuesday. He might get away with it. But you're going to see these really kind of, what's a good word for it? They're just not really decisive rain events, which is frustrating. Because when it's not decisive by the models, that means they're not sure, right? Well, and neither am I. Neither's Zeus, right? It's just the way it is. Okay, so here we are. This is right now. Isobars are pretty far apart. Those lines, the black lines, they're pretty far apart, especially in the Bay Area. So that means virtually nothing in the way of wind. And then we go into, this is Saturday afternoon. And then here comes... So that your day Saturday, kick ass. Just jam on that. And then this is Sunday morning. That looks wet, right? And that looks fairly a little higher than mid latitude. So snow levels will be manageable, but it's not a Blue Canyon thing. It's a, right at pass level thing. And then here is Sunday mid-morning, Sunday afternoon, and then Sunday late afternoon. So what do you do with that, right? Unless you're in Crescent City. Crescent City, you go, hey, we need umbrellas all day Sunday and a little bit into Monday morning. And then there you get a nice looking weather system coming in on Monday morning into the north. And then it kind of swoops in. That's going to be a little bit colder. That'll drop snow levels. That's on Monday afternoon. So what do we have thus far? Sunday looks wet. Monday looks wet. Tuesday, well, my boy Isaac's going to start pouring concrete. Tuesday morning, it's not bad. You see the bullseye up in Crescent City. And then here's Tuesday afternoon. So Tuesday doesn't look half bad. In the mountains, it looks a little squirrely, right? You see that bullseye. So now we're into Wednesday morning, and I got to tell you, the uncertainty in these models is pretty, uncertain, quite frankly, and we've been seeing that all week. So let's just kind of remain skeptical, if you will. So we know that Sunday looks kind of wet. Monday looks pretty wet, especially north of San Rafael. And then we look pretty dry for a while, if you can buy that. That's through Friday, Saturday, and then, wow, and then it's a little something there. So, wow, that's a pretty decent departure from yesterday's model runs, right? So you see the dilemmas we have. And that's why what I was talking about yesterday, the minute somebody says this was going to happen, you're right. It's what the models are suggesting, and it's what my experience in the Bay Area and in California is telling me. But in terms of knowing, don't know. We're really just at this point. I think, we do know tomorrow's going to be kind of a wet day. There'll be a component of that because we can actually see the system. I'll show it to you in a minute. So here is the atmospheric river, right? And first thing I want to do is just watch the big blue. And you see California, I got to circle around. See, everything kind of drifts south. That's that Sunday event. See, and the atmospheric rivers doesn't really even contact the shoreline, the coast. It stays green in the Bay Area, right? That's our rainfall, quarter inch of rain, maybe a little more. That's Sunday. And then the atmospheric river kind of pushes through into Monday night and then tries to regain itself. But look what it does. It just kind of goes, what? Where do I want to go? Oh, I'm going to get sucked up, right? So that's where and then you get a wave go through. That's on your Tuesday morning. So, right? I know. So at some point you just go, AR, maybe not even in the mix anymore. It is, because there's moisture available. But in terms of that blue, when I think of AR, I think of that blue line. And I think of it as in a straight line, not in a curve that's going to translate through. So that's that. And then, all right, so we kind of looked at that. Now we'll look at the rainfall accumulations. This is through Monday afternoon, right? So Crescent City, 3 inches of rain. That's pretty good. That's Sunday, Monday. And then Bay Area, 1/2 inch of rain. That's still pretty good too, Sunday, Monday. And then we get into Wednesday morning, and there you go. So that is through April 14th. What does it tell us? Based on what we just looked at, it looks like that's going to change some more. But the idea is rain is going to fall over the next 10 days or so in the typical locations, but nothing extreme unless, Crescent City on that Monday, Tuesday looks pretty wet. All right, so here's the satellite image. And I know sometimes it's easy to be decisive when the models kind of all just there it is there, and they really are firm on their stance, and they're just not. So that's why I'm kind of and I'm not like that. Just here's what I know: today's gonna be awesome. Tomorrow's gonna be a little squirrely. Monday morning looks a little squirrely. Monday, Tuesday, and beyond look kind of like not too bad, unless you're in the northern part of the state. And we'll look at that again, too, as we go through time. So here is the small craft advisory along the coast. Fire weather danger. This is for tomorrow. It counts for a bit for this afternoon and tomorrow, but that's red flag warnings for Texas, New Mexico, parts of Colorado. Yeah, so red flag warnings, which is it's been a run of fire danger in other parts of the country. These are storm advisories, so cold, that's a winter storm warning, and then more snow and weather. So nothing really. Louisiana, you're getting some big rains down there. So these are the forecasts for tomorrow. The greens are rain, blues are snow. You see where the cold is up here, and you see where the warm is, where the rain is down here. And you see where the fire danger is right in this area. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. But traveling, if I'm flying through Chicago tomorrow, maybe. But Denver for sure. Those hubs look like would be a little bit impacted. Okay, so we're moving on to Chico. This is Chico. This was kind of neat because this morning I noticed this. So we're looking kind of up on the hill up above Old 32. Chico's kind of down in here. And out here, those are the coastal hills. So you're looking out. If you were to go straight across Fort Braggish maybe? Yeah, more like Fort Bragg, maybe a little further north, maybe more Point Arena, further south, Point Arena. So we'll see, but those are the coastal hills there. But beautiful day in the Central Valley where temperatures today will get into the 60s. This is Point Richmond, which I mentioned before. I actually worked there. I worked there at a environmental planning firm, LSA. And it was kind of awesome. I was doing like air quality stuff for when they build traffic lights, the cars that sit at the intersections, and so they produce pollutants. And so we would measure, okay, how long's the light supposed to be so you have less pollutants? And if you add this stoplight, how much is it going to impact the neighborhood air quality? Things like that. For EIRs, for environmental impact reports. That was my first job doing meteorology stuff out of college. This is San Francisco. This is Angel Island. This, I said the other day, was a golf course, which was kind of naive. It just shows that I'm not much of a golfer, because of course that's not a golf course. It looks like it could be, but it would be like one hole. But this is a nice little park out at Point Richmond, which is beautiful. And that, if you've never been to Point Richmond, I know it's like Richmond gets a bad rap all the time, but if you've never been, you should go. Now Richmond's a little more urban over on the other side of the hill, but on the west side of the hill, Point Richmond, the little town, Hotel Mac, you have this beautiful. It used to be where the railroad. It's where the Transcontinental Railroad, I believe, terminated. Yeah, it is. So when they first built the railroad across the United States, it ended there because there was no bridges into San Francisco for the late 1800s. So they would ferry over or barge over the things that came in from the east, like lobster and things that they're super into importing. I also have an interesting story about lobster. I didn't know this, and this is Bolinas. That's Warren's place up there. Bolinas today will go 62. When the railroad came in, the Transcontinental Railroad, the East Coast, everybody in the West Coast and the East Coast, West Coast especially, the East Coast were stoked because it's like, okay, now we can start to ply our merchandise to the West, a market, right, a revenue stream. And in the West Coast, they're like, oh my God, we can get Maine lobsters, right? And the thing that's interesting, this fall, I never knew this. My whole life, you have lobster. It's like, oh my God, you are literally a Rothschild, right? Lobster used to be the kind of working class food on the East Coast. Bottom feeders, crustaceans wasn't a big thing. And somebody, in conjunction with the Transcontinental Railroad and the railroad business, said, hey, we're going to start Maine lobsters. We've all heard of Maine lobsters. We have lobsters out here. Maine lobsters are the best in the world. They started marketing them, and they put them on ice cars. I don't even know how. They must have had ice chunks back then. And then they would bring them out west, and they would be just for only the richest of the rich. And that's how lobster in this country became like the dish of kings. Isn't that interesting? Because they were trying to open up these new markets, and oysters were the same thing. Lobsters, they were marketing stuff they were so excited. And West Coast people were so excited to have that connection to the East Coast. Transcontinental Railroad, probably one of the most interesting sociological, mechanical, engineering things I can think of in the state, in the country. Okay, Bolinas, tide looks like it's a little low. Lagoon, right there, beautiful. It's such a pretty spot. That's the road going up the lagoon. And like I say, temperatures today are gonna be pretty much where we at right here. Here we go. Pretty much temperatures are gonna be in the low 60s. This is Santa Barbara. And a little bit of puffy cloud there, a little bit of stratus trying to form. That's the harbor here. That's Brophy's. I think Brophy's would be right there. State Street's right here. And Mission's up in here. Okay, so Santa Barbara today is going to be mid-60s as well. This is San Francisco's Ocean Beach. Swell has come down quite a bit, but it's still big. Ocean Beach is like 8 to 10 feet. And just a nice day. You can see it's going to be an awesome day. So as soon as you get done here, go hammer out there and do what you're going to do. This is Steamer Lane. I'm going to go on hiking with my wife and my daughter up. I think we're going to the Red Headlands. They're going to hike, though. It's weird. They're going to hike. This is going to sound weird, but I really don't like walking. I don't know why. I don't know. We'll talk about that some other time. But I do like riding my bike. So I'll take my mountain bike, and then they'll go one way, I'll go the other way, and then we'll all meet back. This is the lane, though. Lane's I'd call the lane about 6 to 7 foot. And tide looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. It looks like they might be. Oh, they're doing a little. This is interesting. These kayaker guys, see them? I think they're doing a little kayaker competition because I see a couple of them. And they're not beloved in the ocean, like by surfers. I know this. I don't know if they still are. Yeah, they look like they're having a competition. But I'm not going to go there with this either, but I can tell you, it looks like a bunch of kayakers out. But in terms of surfers, at least in my day, we didn't love them because they don't have any control. And if they come, maybe they do now, I shouldn't say all this, but if they get sideways, like I've been out with them before and they get the river kayaks, they get sideways, they don't really have a fin on it. So they just roll right over you. And they're big and they're heavy, right? As opposed to a surfboard, you can ditch it, you can hold on to it. They can't hold on to that when they get jacked. But I'm sure somebody will chime in and say, no, you're wrong, which is fine. I hope I am wrong. I hope that they are beloved now in the surf break. This is San Diego. This is La Jolla. Surf down there, they've had a run. Surf in San Diego has been, I don't know, they've been averaging 3 to 4 feet, kind of on and off though, for a couple weeks now. That's good. That's a good thing, a good run for them. They're not typically getting a bunch of west northwest swell like we get. They mostly get the good south swells. This is Palisades Tahoe. I told you I was up there yesterday. Super fun. This almost looks like, that's interesting. Looks like a pretty good wind last night. There's pretty good breeze up there now. It's a live camera. Let's go to another one. I love these Palisade cameras. They do a pretty good job. And this is up at the top. Yeah, look at that. Was the mountain open yet? Let's see. 840. Yeah, I think it's just getting ready to open. You see the chairlifts running. Nobody really skiing, but isn't that a beautiful mountain? Oh my gosh. Okay, Mr. Toads. All right, where are we going to go? Okay, there's that, and then we'll go, there's the Funatel. And then this is Heavenly Valley, which has an awesome view. There's this little fog out on the lake. See the chairlift shadow going by. And I think the bummer for the ski resorts is going to be just what we talked about. And that is this area here, this atmospheric river potential, is bringing warmer air. So again, here we go. There is Sunday morning rain, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, but it never really, that's a warm flow. That's a warm flow. And then we go into Monday night. Now we're into Tuesday morning, right? I mean, it's in the area. So it's, I would say, moist flow. Right now, the most decisive thing is April 8th, because you can kind of see a little wave going through. So, yeah, okay, well, that's how that goes. Okay, today's going to be awesome. And tomorrow we'll dial it in. We'll get those models closer. The babies have eaten. They're getting so big. There's one of the heads. There's the other head. And I think, small but flat head, I think that's Jackie, only because the head's kind of flat. That's mom, but that's usually where dad sits. Let's see if I can back it up. Maybe we'll see. Sometimes you can back up a little bit. Let's see if I can do this. This is all like YouTube not supposed to do stuff. Let's see if I can back up. See if I can get him to. Oh, there she goes. She's eating a few a little bit. Yeah, there they are. It's a little earlier. This might be an hour or two ago, maybe an hour ago. So she's feeding them. Yeah, it's amazing. Although it's interesting during the snow. When the snows came a few weeks ago, they did lose one. Yeah, that's Shadow. Yeah, the male. When the snows came, they had a lot of food. Like they had a lot of mud hens, they had a lot of fish, and I know that they were, mom and dad are going, hey, we got to load up on food because we don't know how long this weather's going to last. And I think when the weather gets nicer like this, because it's in the 60s down there, upper 50s. They're like, we don't need to stack the food with nests. Now, I might be wrong on that. And I did say something yesterday that I thought was very true. If you pull this camera up, this is the Friends of Big Bear Valley website, and I think it's FOBBV, friendsofbigbearvalley.org. If you watch this long enough, which is live, this isn't live, this was a little while ago, but when you watch it long enough, you'll become a bird person. You will. You become an animal. You already are probably if you're here. But just watching these animals is fascinating. Now I'm starting to think that's Jackie. Jeez, I know. I'm always messing that one up. This is Mavericks today. I just wanted to show you because yesterday we looked at it, remember? And it was like, wow, 25 foot and just gritty as heck. I actually saw some video. I don't know if you're a surfer or you know much about surfing or foiling, which is a different kind of surfing. It's using a foil, anyway, Kai Lenny, who's a huge name in the surfing world, was out there towing. And remember we were watching those guys tow in yesterday? I think Kai was one of them. If you Google search Kai Lenny foil Mavericks, it'll come up. Well, could I do it? I'm going to try to do it. Oh, okay. Let's do this first. This is actually important stuff. The other stuff's more frivolous. So this blue line represents the average. This is the 8-station index. This is the average for this time for each month as we go through the lines down here. See, there's May, June, July. So this blue area is average, right? That's where we should be. Then when we have below average years, like in the drought of 76, 77, which I remember, Look where you are. You're way down here. When you go like where you were last year, you're like, not bad. We're a little below average. This is where we are this year. This is where we are to date. So we're into March, April. And we are far from 82, 83, which was an El Nino, but we are right on average. So even if it stops raining, we should be able to be at average or just below average. But I think with this new event, we should stay above average. So right now, this water year has been pretty awesome. This is an 8-station index, and it looks at the watersheds of Northern California, which are pivotal in terms of the state's water ability to have water in the spring. And it doesn't only measure the runoff from the rivers, but it also measures snowfall and determines how much melt is going to fall into the reservoirs, because there's nothing better than having the water trickle out, because then you're capturing it as it moves down the hill. And so the snow is such an important part. So that is the basin for the 8-station index, and we are doing awesomely. Okay, I'm not going to try to search that, because if I try to search it, I'll just get crushed, and then it'll be like, what are you doing? So we got the model. Let's look at it one more time, because it's so undecisive. Here's today. Here is tomorrow morning. Here is tomorrow afternoon, right here. And then here comes Monday. Looks a little bit wet again. Monday morning, Monday afternoon, but not very decisive. And then Tuesday, right? I know. So what do you do with that? I think you just roll with your plans. Prepare. I think Sunday does look to be, this point here does appear to be the best opportunity for a direct hit, right? Because see how right there, that's Sunday mid-morning. So let's do this. Let's go through today. Go awesome day. Nice. Sunday looks a little bit wet for sure. Heavy rain. I think Northern California for sure. I think Marin County maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, something like that. For San Francisco, maybe 1/4 inch. San Jose, maybe very little. But we shall see. That is down the road on Sunday. Let's enjoy today. I'll see you back here as we head into the day tomorrow. See you back here.